Books, books, and more books. We've all had this problem over the years. Books stored in boxes, the closet, the attic. You know the routine. As a result, building a home library can utilize several areas and add value to your home. A spare bedroom wall, hallways, or spaces behind an entry door, such as the master bedroom, can benefit from bookcases, as shown here. All the bookcases were made from No. 2 white pine boards to match the trim in the old house. The cases were made without backs, anchoring them to painted walls with cleats on the back of the shelves. Construction is fairly simple, standard cabinet case construction. The first step is to rip a 1.5-inch piece off each 1x10 for the front facers. After the piece has been ripped to the correct size, the sawn edges of both should be run over a joiner to smooth it up. If you don't have a joiner, the pieces can be clamped in a vise and hand or power plane to smooth up the edges. Smooth up the edges for all the verticals and horizontals too. Note the bottom front facer is made wide enough to accommodate the baseboard and allow for about a 1/2 inch above the baseboard. The top facer is wide enough to accommodate the top trim board. The bookshelves are held in place with dados cut in the uprights. Once all the boards have been ripped and planed, lay out the shelf dados on the side and center uprights. The easiest way to cut these is with a dado head on a radial arm saw or table saw. You can also use a table saw or radial arm saw to cut the sides of the dados to the proper depth and then use a chisel to cut between. Make sure you sand all the surfaces before assembly. This makes it easier to stain and finish the inside of the case once you put it together. Begin construction by fastening the top and bottom shelf in place between the two sides of one bookcase module. Note that the top comes only to a 1/2 inch thickness of the upright near the window on each module. This provides support for the window shelf. Then, position the center upright between the top shelf and the bottom shelf and fasten it in place with screws through the bottom and top shelves into the ends of the center upright. Cut the shelves to the correct length to fit into the side and center of the upright dados. Make sure the case is square, and then glue the shelves into position. Do not apply a whole bunch of glue because it is extremely hard to remove and sand for a clean finish on the inside of the cases. Use a damp cloth to wipe away any excess glue before it dries. Cut the side facers to the correct length and fasten them in place with their outside edges flush with the outer edges of the sides. Use No. 6 finishing nails and woodworker's glue to fasten them in place. Fasten the bottom and top facers between the uprights. Next, fasten the center facer over the center upright, positioning it centered over the upright. Then, fasten the shelf uprights in place over the shelf edges. Install with No. 6 finishing nails. Keep the nails at least a 1/2 inch from the shelf edges. Drive No. 8 finishing nails in from the edges of the outside facers to secure all the shelves and the center facer ends in place. Set all nail heads below the wood surface and fill with wood putty. Use a sander to sand the fronts of the facer ends flush and smooth. Now use a corner round bit and a router. Route around the inside edge of all the facers. This creates a nice finishing edge. You can also eliminate this step if you prefer flat-face shelves. Fasten the back cleats to the bottom of the shelves. Then stain and finish or paint the module to suit. You're now ready to install the module. Position the module in place and then shim it up if necessary to make it plumb. Then drive wood screws through the cleats into the wall studs. Install the other module or modules. Position the window shelf across the window trim and resting it on the ends of the modules. Fasten in place with screws down through the shelf into the upright ends. Add the decorative top trim piece. If you add modules, a decorative vertical trim piece should also be installed over the joining edges. Finally, install the baseboard around the bottom of the cases. If the bookcase extends to the ceiling, install the trim to match. Remember, measure twice, cut once. Have fun, and thanks for watching.